Hi everyone, so this video is a particular video. It's about Shanquella Robinson, this amazing 25-year-old girl who has been unfortunately murdered, killed, or I'm not sure, but I mean, she went on a vacation with her friends who said that she died of alcohol intoxication, but then the autopsy showed that she died of a broken neck and the spine damages. So actually, her death is a little shrouded in mystery, but I'm not worried that justice will take its course and that people who were responsible for her death will be charged eventually. And I'm very humbled, very, very humbled by the story of Shanquella. And I genuinely believe that her story actually helped in saving my life. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I want to first of all give my condolences to her family, who I can only imagine what they must be going through actually. I'm not sure how can a news like this be received about a loved one. I can only imagine, and my condolences to her family. Let's get to my story now. So I know this girl, she's a friend of mine from college, and we've known each other for approximately 5 years now, I think, or 6 years. But we're not very, very close. I mean, we see each other once in a while, and it's fun, it's okay, it's good. It's casual. But once I went, she invited me over to a party with her friends, and so I because she lives with two friends, and so I went there. The party was okay. It was okay. I felt a little bit honestly out, like I'm outside the circle. I felt excluded a little bit honestly, but I thought it's only natural. I mean, I'm not gonna show up and then her friends would be, my friends, right away, because that's not, it's not how it works. And so I was fine with that, but I felt, and I must say, a weird vibe. Okay, a weird vibe because, like I said, I felt a little excluded, like I'm outside the circle and not inside. But then, that was that. It was over. I went home, and a little bit later, she calls me. We meet up actually, and she tells me that she is going to have a dinner party, and she is inviting me over. And I said yes immediately because I work from home, and you know how isolating that can be, and I don't have a lot of friends because most of the people who were my friends are toxic, and so I kind of pulled away from them, whatever, and I'm alone now, and so I actually needed that social interaction, and so I said yes immediately. And then a few days later, I have this very, very strange dream. I was in the party in their house in the dream, and I was sitting in a chair a little bit secluded, like away from the group. And then two of her friends come over to me and start making a problem. They start, like, making a problem out of thin air, out of absolutely nothing. And I remember in the dream being very, very confused, and they started getting a little physical with me. And so I remember, standing up and just going away. And I remember her standing a little far from the scene, but watching what's happening, and she didn't do or say anything. And I was in the dream again, very confused because she's supposed to be my friend. But when I woke up, I did not, think much of it. I thought it was a weird dream, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going through with the plan. I'm going to go to that dinner. This dream means absolutely nothing. So I didn't want to, didn't want to make a big deal out of it and speak about the dream to anyone else. But then last night, because you know what? The dinner is supposed to be today, by the way. But last night, as I was scrolling on YouTube, I find this story, the Shanquella Robinson story, and I open the video, and to my surprise, it's this girl who went on vacation with her friends who turned on her, and I also saw the video. It was absolutely heartbreaking to watch, and I cannot now explain what I felt when I watched the video. I cannot explain what I felt. I cannot explain what I felt when I knew about Shanquella's story. So I said to God, God, if this is a warning to me, if this is to tell me don't go to the dinner party tomorrow, I'm gonna need another sign. Please give me another sign. And so I opened another video, and it turns out, and get this, that Shanquella died on the 28th of October, which is, by the way, my birthday. And so that's when I realized that God is speaking to me. He did speak to me through that dream, and he knew that I would be stubborn about it. He knew that I would brush it off and ignore it completely and not believe in it, even though I do believe in my dreams. But sometimes I really wanted to have fun. And so he knew that I was going to ignore it, and he gave me another sign. And so I'm the type of person, and I don't know if you are the type of person who is a believer, who believes that God sends some people to warn other people, that God would use your story to warn other people, that God will use other people's stories to warn you. But I'm a believer. I learned the hard way that actually, you know what, if you don't listen to those signals, if you don't listen to those divine signs, then you might get yourself in trouble. And so this is a video just to get my testimony out there so that people know that, you know what, Shanquella might have died. She might have died, but her death was not in vain. And I must say this, I'm very humbled by God's goodness and the way that He protects His people. His infinite ways. I'm humbled by His infinite ways in protecting other people. And honestly, I'm truly, truly thankful. And today is, by the way, Thanksgiving. So I would like to give thanks to God for his protection of me, and to pray for the protection of everyone who has a good heart and who is very trusting of other people, because I know that that place, I come from that place, and it's a hard place to be, because life can be dangerous, and because we cannot be too trusting of other people and actually not expect to be let down. That's the way it is. That's the way these things work. You trust someone to be your friend, and you look away for 5 seconds and they stab you in the back. It's not the way that we want it to be, but it's not about what we want. It's about what is going on, what the reality is. And it's hard for some people to see that. It's hard, but it does not mean that you're not protected. It does not mean that you will be, you will literally be killed, but it can get to that. And this is why we cannot take anything lightly. This is why, Shanquella's story is telling us. This is what we must learn from this. Like I said, I want to give thanks to God. And I believe that getting my testimony out there for you is kind of my way of giving thanks to God for warning me, and for not letting me go to that dinner, because I know that it might seem a little crazy to some of you who are not believers, but if you are a believer, and if you know how God, works, how God speaks to his people, to people in general, because you know what, God speaks to everyone. He, maybe not to everyone in the same way, but he will give you signs. The difference is if you get those signs. If some people would get those signs and ignore those signs. And so I'm just here to tell you, all of you, that being careful and being not very trusting of other people, and being kind of not gullible, is a good life skill. Being socially smart is a good life skill. It can save your life. Choosing your friends, that's the message. That's the message. Choosing your friends can either make or break you, literally break you. It can literally kill you. Because you know what, my friend, I always knew that she was a little bit, and how do I say this? A little bit unsympathetic, or she lacked empathy in general. And people who lack empathy are, come on, I mean, enough of that, and you are a sociopath, and you have a psychopath or a sociopath, or someone who at least will not help you if you need help, which is what I think Shaquella's friends are, because they must be people who actually don't know what being empathetic means, what helping someone means. And how can you help someone if you are the one who assault them? So this is just to say the soul that's been taken away is Shakwila's soul. And you don't understand how precious someone's life is until it's taken away. And actually I cannot describe to you how impactful her story is to me. I genuinely think that her story saved my life, that God saved my life. I'm sorry, this is a little hard on me to describe. I cannot quite fathom it myself, and so I cannot put it in words, if you will. And so I want you to excuse that and to imagine that God has infinite ways to save you, to speak to you, to keep you away from danger, to invite you into his goodness. And all you have to do is listen. All you have to do is follow him. All you have to do is cut off the people that you think are not for you or will not make you advance in life. Because if you don't make me advance in life, then you are nothing but a distraction. And sometimes, distractions sometimes are fatal. Like in the story of Shanquella, who actually lost her life because of bad company and because of bad friends. So this is a cautionary tale. This is a testimony that, you know what, you can't be careful enough. But this is also a story of hope to tell you that God is there. God sees everything. He knows you. He knows your friends. He knows your friend's heart. And He knows the future. He is always ahead of you. And if you need guidance if you have toxic friends or need guidance with your friends, or you think that your friends are bad friends, and this actually reminds me of another story. Actually, I had a friend. She was my high school friend. She befriended the wrong people and then ended up losing her life also, but to suicide. I remember she came over to me once, and she was drunk and started crying and saying that I don't want to be with them. I want out of that circle. And I did my best to encourage her. I told her you can get out. You can. I was young. I was in high school myself, but I tried. I tried. I mean, I still feel a little guilty, honestly, but I know now that it's not something I could have prevented, because she was my high school friend, yes, but we weren't that close. I mean, she started hanging out with this group, and I'm not sure if that group is why she did it. She killed herself, but sometimes, you know what? Sometimes they don't pull the trigger, but they drive you to pull the trigger yourself. And this is how dangerous friendship is. For me, I'm absolutely alone now. I cut off all the toxic people from my life. Loneliness can be very, very terrifying, but you know what? Loneliness is better than wasting your life, literally wasting your life. Because, like I said, your friendships, they either make you or break you. You know the saying, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are, or something like that. So this is all very, very, very hard for me to remember my friend, and to go through to see what they did to this poor Shankwala girl. And I really, really hope this message reaches you, so that if you have any friendship that you're not convinced with 100%, then please just get away from those toxic people. Get away from those who want to harm you. You don't have to have fun with a group of bad people. You can have fun by yourself for a while, until you are wise enough to have friends that are actually for you and not against you, that are not harmful to you. And this is all that matters. This is actually all that matters. All that matters is you. And you cannot be, like I said, too careful. You have to protect yourself. Okay, God will always be there to give you signs to protect you, but you also have to make that decision, because He will give you signs, but the final decision will be yours. The final decision, the final say will be yours. And that's it, my loves. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time.